Are you a professional pillow fighter? Or a 9-to-5 low-cost time travel agent? Or maybe real estate sales on Mars is your profession? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is you do, however complex or intricate, Monday.com can help you organize, orchestrate, and make it more efficient. Monday.com is the one centralized platform for everything work-related. And with Monday.com, work is just easier. Monday.com, for whatever you run. Go to Monday.com to learn more.
Regen auf mein Kopf. Hinter der Decke muss es die kleine Fahrt beim Top. Geht mir kein Sach nicht.
Welcome to Kill Me Now with Judy Gold. I'm your host, Judy Gold, and I hope you enjoy listening to part 2 of my interview with Zarna Garg as much as I had fun interviewing her. She really is a bundle of joy. And what a fascinating life. And she's hilarious. So I hope you enjoyed that. Also, I want to wish all of my my Muslim friends, I hope Ramadan is going well for you. I personally couldn't do it. I need to eat during the day. I want to wish all my fellow tribe members a Chag Sameach, a wonderful Passover, and happy Easter to all my friends and family. And I don't have any family who celebrates Easter, so I don't even know why I said that. Well, I do, but not whatever. It doesn't matter. But happy Easter, happy Passover. Get ready to be constipated and sit back, relax, and enjoy part 2 of Kill Me Now with Zarna Garg. You're in college. How old were you when you went to college?
17.
17.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you looking around you thinking, what are their lives like? I mean, you go from the Bombay privilege to like sitting in a classroom, and you're in Ohio. It's not even like you're in this cultural capital where you're seeing,
No.
It's really Midwestern. So what were you?
I mean, I loved it because I was driving a car. My sister taught me how to drive. She had to. There's no other way to get around. And it was, I came to America at a very interesting time. I don't know if you may remember Jeffrey Dahmer was a big story back then.
Yes.
And he was in Ohio.
Right.
So I was like, I'm never going to anybody's house. I literally, in my mind.
Do you know that his cousin or niece or someone does stand up now?
She does?
Yes.
Do we know her?
Henry told me. I've seen her. Yeah, I'll find out from Henry and I'll get you the info. But yeah.
But I remember coming to America and thinking, oh my God, that's what they do in their big houses.
Right.
And
no one had servants.
No one at all. That was the first. I was like, where are the servants? I landed, I asked my sister, I'm like, where are the servants? She's like, no, we are the servants. We do everything.
We are the servants. And
then snow and black ice. I remember being terrified of black ice. Like, if you fall, you're going to break your bones.
Yes.
I was like, what does it look like? They're like, you can't see it.
So is she, and she has kids, right?
She had kids. So
how old was the oldest kid?
He was like 4 or 5. Like the third one was born when I was there. So, they were very little. And I loved it because I felt like I could help her a little bit.
And it was your family. It's your family. Oh. Okay. So do you meet any friends at school?
Well, people were always friendly, but I was more on guard.
Right.
I was like, first of all, I've always viewed having friends as it's a luxury in life.
Right.
To me. I was like, I don't have time for friendships. Like, you guys hang out and do nothing. I don't have time for that. So they were always very nice to me, but I was always like, I need 2 more credits. I need to finish this class. I need to,
So very focused.
And the TV show Friends was on back then. You remember the TV show?
Oh, please.
Do you realize what that show looks like to an Indian person? It is the worst thing you've ever seen because they're dating, they're not dating, they're dating, they're not dating, they're getting married. Like if you come from the world that I come from, the horror show.
Right.
So I was like, I don't need friends because there's a lot of confusion and nobody works and I can't have that.
Yeah, they don't work, but they have a nice apartment and they're So you didn't go to any like parties or stuff like that?
No. And honestly, I didn't even miss it. Like I'm not sitting here missing it. Like in my spare time, I would wanted to read a book.
Right.
So
and now you can.
Now I can.
Okay. So you go to Case Western, which is when you got in there, you must have been freaking out. Such a great school. And then you go to Case Western Law School and you're living there, right?
Yeah.
Do you become more Americanized or more comfortable in that space?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, people love visiting my house, my little apartment, because I was always cooking because that's the life I knew.
So you're making friends now.
Yeah, but I would go to their house. I would be like, where's the food? And it would be like a cereal box. And it would be so shocking to me. I was like, this is your breakfast? Like I didn't, it was a really great time. I mean, I learned so much. And Cleveland, Cleveland's an interesting town.
I like Cleveland. A lot of Jews.
It's not the bougiest town at all. There's very gritty parts.
Yes.
But then Case Western is like this little oasis of academia. Doctors, dentists, like all these like really intellectually curious people. So it was the best time.
So you realize that you're a good writer. Is that, or you liked writing, or?
I never thought I was a good, people always like my writing. If I sent an angry email to somebody, people would always be like, you wrote it so beautifully. I was like, I was mad at you. Did you get that?
Right.
Did you get, and so I've always had people say that, but you wrote it so beautifully. For 30 years, I waited for the math gene to activate.
Right. And it didn't.
Why am I the only Indian who can't do math?
Oh, please. You did get a degree in finance, so you must do some math.
But it was a struggle. It was like with my friends,
it didn't come
family,
naturally.
It just fell out of them. In my case, I was like, what is it again? You know what I mean? Like I was the dumbest one in my family.
That's what I say. And they say, no, you're the smartest. And they're right. Anyway, so how old are you when you meet Shalab?
So my third year of law school, I was 21.
Right. Your third year of law school, you're 21?
Yeah, that's right. I finished it all.
That's crazy. Okay.
I didn't take any summer, winter, or I was working.
Right.
But I had a moment in Cleveland thinking, I'm now so old, I'm never going to meet anybody because
you're 21. Wow.
I'm going to meet an Indian guy in Cleveland by myself, And by then my dad had given up. He wasn't even talking to me. He never spoke to me after I left.
Right. You left and he never spoke to you again.
My siblings, what am I going to go back to them and be like, now arrange me as if I can't do anything? So in 1997, AOL was new, America Online.
Yes, you've got mail.
So they used to have hoardings all over America and their tagline was open up your world.
Right.
I was like, Ganesh sent him. Ganesh sent AOL to Cleveland, Ohio to open up my world. I was so literal and naive. I was like, how do I, for $19.99, I can open up my world? And I bought that AOL thing and I got an account and I found all these, the most primitive online dating spaces, an Indian matchmaking space online.
What was it called?
Matrimonials.com. It barely exists today. It was like an HTML site.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, maybe I can find somebody here. So I put an ad out that was so obnoxious that What was it? Because I came from this arranged real life metric, I was like, you've got to be brilliant. You've got to be wanting to do something big in your life. Because I heard my dad say stuff like that.
Right.
It's like, your family has to be good. And I was like, I'm not even going to lie. I'm like, I'm 5 feet. I struggle with my weight. I was like, just put it out there. What's the point of lie? He's going
right.
Just put it out there. But what I didn't realize that in 1997, it turns out I was the only woman putting an ad for herself.
No way.
Every other Indian woman had a mother or an aunt.
Who knew someone to arrange it?
Because back then people were like, what if he's a serial killer? It was matchmaking online wasn't what it is today. So what happened is that I got floods of responses just because people were excited to talk to the girl without having to go through a middleman.
So are you freaking out? Like, oh my God, look at all these guys that are...
I was like, the Hindu gods created America online for me.
Okay, so what do you do with all these responses?
Oh, I think over 80 guys flew.
No.
That year to meet me.
What would you do? Where would you go?
There was one McDonald's with a big glass front, so it was all open. There was.
So they can't murder you, okay?
Right. And I was like, I would plan all my dates, whatever you want to call that there, and it was, you will be shocked.
Okay, and they weren't like, I don't want to go to McDonald's. I mean,
I would be like, that's all I got. I was very. I've been clear about what I want and don't want.
Okay. Did you order food at McDonald's?
Well, I couldn't because I'm vegetarian, so I couldn't order much.
Right. You could get French fries.
Yeah. So I would get French fries.
It's the only good thing there anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. So for an Indian guy, that was often they're like, you want to go to McDonald's? Like, they couldn't understand, but I was like, no, it's a thing. It's got a big window and I don't feel safe going anywhere else.
Okay, so you go to McDonald's and is it 80 days in a row or is it?
It was over a year.
Okay.
It was over a year.
Did you ever see anyone twice? Did you?
I did. There were a few and they were like, but the guys that were interested in me, I was not interested, it was and most guys weren't interested in me. That's the truth. Like, I think I was too much of something very.
Yeah, they're not going to control you.
Yeah, and plus, they wanted to date Americans. Oh, my ad said, I don't want to be friends. I want to get married. Please don't call me if you want to be a friend. Because I had watched Friends, the TV show. I was like, no, we don't want that. No,
I can't deal with that. Yeah.
So a lot of guys would be like, so I would be like, so when do you want to get married? And they would be like, well, they were born and raised here. And they were like, what are you talking about? So I go, did you read the ad? The experiences were all really good, but nothing was clicking.
Okay.
And then I got an email.
I mean, weren't you after like 40, like, ugh, I can't do this anymore?
No, because in an arranged system, I had seen people go through hundreds.
Oh, okay. Because after 3, I would have been like, no, I'm done.
And plus,
I'll just live by myself and get a cat. Yeah.
No, I couldn't live by myself. Like, I was so scared that my time in America would come to an end.
And that you would be sent back. Okay.
Yeah, I would be said, where am I going to go? Like, when your survival depends on it, your tolerance goes way up.
Right. So you get, someone writes to you? Is that what happened?
So I got an email from this guy and he's like, this ad is a joke, right? This isn't real. And I said, it's very real. And he goes, this can't be real, because it was obnoxious. I mean, Judy was like, you've got to be brilliant because I'm brilliant. And you got to bring proof of your brilliance, because how else will I know that you're brilliant?
Yeah.
And, I was like, bring your tax returns, because I had seen that in an
Oh, that's hilarious.
No, but in an arranged world, you do that. You're like, does he actually have a job? Like, we need to know if he has a job.
I need proof. Yeah.
We're trading our daughter for him. You know what I mean? So I wrote it all. I was like, bring your tax return. And this guy was like, so I emailed him. I said, what are you doing? Like, you're not looking to get married. Why are you engaging with me? So it turned out that him and his 4 friends in Switzerland, Indian guys in Switzerland, were goofing around on the personal site and saw my ad. And he decided to write to me. And he happens to be who I'm married to today.
So how did you meet him?
he couldn't believe it was real. I said, I don't understand what you're not believing.
So he's in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Where do you meet for the first time in person?
At JFK.
So how are you corresponding? Just through email?
And he's like, I have to meet you. I go, no, you don't have to meet me. And I have no time to meet you because you're not trying to get married. And I don't know if you read the ad for the 10th time. And, I told him, I'm meeting a doctor from here. I'm meeting a doctor from there. And he's like, I need to see this for real. Is this for real? And he goes, I'm coming to New York. I said, okay. And that time I was in Cleveland wanting to move to New York. I thought, okay, maybe New York has Indian people. So I was like, oh, I'm moving to New York. So he said, okay, can I meet you in New York? And I said, you know what? Only at JFK because all my other times are booked. I had already scheduled. I had scheduled so many dates in New York that I was like, I had no time. So we met at JFK.
So you went, all right. What was it like when you saw him for the first time?
I mean, I thought he was great. And I think he was like, he was, first of all, convinced I wasn't real. So I think he was relieved that there was a real person. And we had we shared a cab into Manhattan. And, we started talking. He's like, so why are you trying to get married? And I was like, listen to me. I can't tell you my whole life story in the 25 minutes. But it's nice meeting you. Now I'm real. Go on, do your thing, whatever you do in whatever reason that you're here. And he said to me, no, I'm here to meet you. I don't know anybody in New York. So I'm like, no. You did not fly here for me because then I have to deal with where you're going to stay and stuff. And he's like, I don't have anywhere to go. I go, oh my God, what are you talking about? Like, he was a kid too. He was 22. So I go, I don't know where to put you. I barely have a space for myself. So he goes, okay, I'll sleep on the floor wherever you're going. Just take me for 2 days and then I'm going back. So I had to drag him with me. And he slept on the floor for 2 days and I continued with my dates.
You continued with your dates while he's on the floor knowing you're going out on dates.
Yeah. And he's like, you're going to, he went in. So he is a graduate of the most prestigious school in India. It's like the kids who don't get in there go to MIT and Stanford here.
Okay.
Because the numbers are so stacked against you. Just the sheer numbers. So he's a graduate of that school. So in his mind, he was a superstar. And when he met me, he's like, you're going to meet this guy? And what does this guy do? And
so he was really confident. And did he know immediately that he liked you and you were the one?
I don't know because we didn't meet with that intention. He didn't come to America thinking he's getting married.
Right. He came going, I got to see what the hell's going on here.
He thought, he's like, oh, it's this little American adventure that he's going to have with me. And I was like, what am I doing? Whatever. Okay, fine. He seems nice enough. Let's meet. So every date I went to, he would be like, so how did it go? What do these people talk about? And he didn't come from a world of dating either.
Uh-huh.
So he was like, what do you guys talk about? What do they ask you? What do they ask for marriage?
But are you staying up at night talking like he's on the floor? Oh, so you're bonding after, yeah.
I'm like, in America, they ask things like, what do you want to study in college? Like, who cares about that?
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
So he leaves, and did you miss him?
Very much. I was like, oh my God, he was a great guy. Like, we laughed a lot. And, and he was...
No funny stuff. Nothing.
No,
he didn't touch you. Nothing. Okay.
Nothing. And we were like... And he, he left, and every date I went on after, I was thinking about what am I going to tell him about this date? So I knew something, but I didn't know that he, then he would call me and be like, how did it go? I'm like, why are you still calling me? Now I knew he was messing with my head because I needed to progress with other people. But then, and then
how did he come back? How did you get together?
He's like, I want to be your friend. And I go, oh my God, for the 15th time.
Right.
I cannot have a friend. I don't know how to explain this to you. You don't understand. People who have time have friends. I don't have time. People have died around me. I've been thrown out. Like, I've had enough drama.
Right.
I need a husband. I need somebody I can attach myself to and actually make a life for real and stop being on people's mercy.
Does he come back?
Like, why can't that be me? I go, you're a kid. Go home. Because everybody I was meeting was much older than me. You know?
I love him.
See, he's like, why can't that be me? I go, because you're not looking to get married. What are you doing? Go home. Go to your mom.
So how do you get married?
No, he's like, no, I think we're a match. He said to me, he said, you don't understand. Like, I think, and like, I never in my life have I used the word love. I've never said I love you to him, nor would he say it to me. And like lately I've been thinking, if he were to say it to me now, I would think he's dying of COVID.
Do you think is that a very Indian thing that you don't say love? Or
so, you know, Judy, I don't know if you know my TikTok adventure, but my joke about I've never said
yes, that was the first thing that went viral. Yes,
because we don't, as a culture, say that. And now what I've learned through TikTok is that there's so many cultures in the world who don't. It's in fact a very American thing to profess your love so emphatically.
Well, and it's Shakespearean as well, but yes, I agree.
But the Shakespearean stories often ended in tragedy. So I think
I know. You know what? Shakespeare would be canceled at this point, you know,
exactly.
And every opera. But yes.
He's like, we're a match. Don't you see it? And I'm like, no, I don't see it. I don't see it.
And it's interesting because you say it's all about math and figures and making sense. And love is not a rational, there's no number that goes with it. So those are things that you suppress in a way.
Yeah.
Feelings.
And I was like, what are you going to fall in love with me? And what are you talking about? You don't have a job. You have no money. You have no life. You're a student. I can't do this anymore. And then he's like, you're not. Okay, go on your date. And then he became even more confident. He's like, go on more dates. Let's hear about how it's going. And then every date I went on, it became like, why am I not, it became clear very quickly.
And so does he fly back?
Yeah, he did. He came back. And then after that, we've been inseparable since,
And are his parents alive or were they alive?
Yep, they're alive. And they were, of course,
where did they live?
They live in India.
Okay.
They live in a small, tiny town outside Delhi. So they're people of very modest means, even though very educated and smart. Nice
and so does he bring you to meet them?
No. I couldn't have left America. I was
right, because that's right.
Visa. I couldn't have left. So he had to call them and say, I want to get married to this girl. And they were in a state of shock. Their like prize superstar son, who had a job in Switzerland, and they were like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I met her and I'm going to marry her and we're coming to India to get married. But I landed in India 2 days before my wedding. So, but his mother, to her credit, was very, very, very welcoming. And she said, my son is so smart that if he thinks this is the move, this is the move.
So did you feel a maternal thing from his mother and did any of your family come to the wedding?
Yeah, my siblings came. My siblings loved him. I made him meet my siblings before we got married. I said, my dad's never going to meet you and you're not going to, he is not going to fit my dad's criteria. But my siblings are good, decent people. And, if they like you, then we can get married. My dad went to his parents' house to sabotage our wedding. He was so angry.
He went and met his parents?
And insulted them and told them what a big loser their son was.
What the fuck?
Yeah, because he was like,
He's so angry. Guy? But you know what? That's what happens when you don't deal with feelings or you don't acknowledge feelings.
Exactly.
It's all, it's like anger. That's the only thing the only way you can process it. Yeah. So were they like, who the fuck is this guy?
They were shocked because he's so rich. A rich man, think a very rich man shows up at your door and you're like a humble, you think your son is in love. You're still trying to deal with that. And my dad showed up in his, car with his whole entourage. And he's like, what is your son? And then he went into this whole, your son's trying to trick my daughter. She's a big lawyer in America. The man was ashamed of everything I did until that moment. And he's like, my daughter is a big lawyer in America. And, but my in-laws, to their credit, trusted their son so much that none of it mattered.
That's amazing.
If you think this is the right move, and they were like, then this is the move and this is what we do.
So you were what kind of law did you practice?
I practiced litigation in New York City.
You did? Where did you work?
At a law firm downtown in Battery Park called Armiante and Brooks. It was a small firm because I was on I needed a work visa. So not every job was open to me, but they were willing to sponsor me and help me get a visa. And they did litigation with the MTA, when people die on subway tracks or they get hit.
Did you like it?
I loved it and I was so good at it. I mean, I make jokes about how bad I was as a lawyer, but I was so good at it.
I can't imagine you being a bad lawyer. And that is performing. That is performing litigating,
Yeah.
You have to tell a story and convince people and get a reaction. And that's what stand-up is. And I hate to tell you, Zarna, stand-up is all math, timing, the amount of words, like a syllable can change a joke. It is so mathematical and musical.
And you don't know, I have only newly discovered this, but you don't know the thrill it gives me to dig into a joke and listen to a tape and be like, but why didn't it work? Why did I lose the audience here? Like, this is who I am inside my bones. And I finally have a space to work. It's like finding clay for the first time and being able to mold it.
It's funny. I've been doing this most of my life. I mean, since I'm 19, I'm so comfortable. I mean, that I'm more comfortable probably on stage than I am like doing anything. I mean, it's just like, that's where I feel, and I'm at the point where I will do a joke and be like, why didn't you laugh at that? Like, is this funnier than this? What if I said that? It's like, but it's interesting because I do think that you're performing in front of a jury or, telling this person's story is stage time in a way. So you have 3 kids. Your daughter is the eldest, right? Is she 18 or 19 or
19? Yeah.
And did she go to college?
Yeah, she is.
Where does she go?
She's at Stanford.
Oh, so she's an idiot. And what is she studying?
I make jokes about this. Believe it or not, she's doing ceramics.
No, she is not.
Yeah, she is.
At Stanford?
Yeah.
Okay, that's an hour right there. That is an hour. Unless she's doing like ceramics of the human brain.
I told her, I said, you better be doing a double, triple, quadruple major. I don't know what it's going to take, but you cannot graduate only with a degree in ceramics.
Did she grow up in Manhattan?
Yeah.
She did? Did she go to private school here and everything? So
she did for a long time. And then for high school, I switched her. Honestly, the private school world wasn't right for me.
Oh, please. It's
so
not.
I took all my kids out. They were in there for many years, but there was another system that was killing me. I couldn't handle it.
And it's so expensive. Did they go to Hunter? Where did they go?
So she went to Bronx Science.
Bronx Science, yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the other 2?
So my middle one is at Lab High School.
Oh, that's a great school, the Lab School, yeah.
Loves it. And my little one is in elementary. He's at PS6.
PS6, great school. Yeah. My kids went to public school too.
Yeah. I think the public schools in New York, phenomenal.
Right. And the parents are way more involved than in a private school.
And focused on the right thing.
Yes.
I'll tell you, like, when I was my daughter goes to a marquee name school, and I understand that not many people think I'm being honest, but I can tell you what I believe. I didn't send her to Horace Mann, where she went for many years, praying she goes to an Ivy League school.
Right.
If anything, I was very insistent with her. You be true to yourself. And then what school takes you, takes you. We're not going to obsess over all this.
Right.
And I truly believe that that's why she got it. Like, her heart was in the right place all along. Like, you're
such an example. You're such an example of overcoming and having a dream and fulfilling it and being focused. I mean, it's amazing. You're a strong woman and a great role model. And are they very Americanized?
They're
kids?
So American. It kills me to say it. But yeah, I mean, that's why when I was struggling what to do to get back to work, 16 years, I was a stay-at-home mom. Because, raising a family with no family around,
forget it. Yeah.
It's a lot. And it's fine. I did it. I was very happy. But my friends who knew me as a stay-at-home mom described me as a caged tiger, as a caged lion. Like, I was always like, I want to be a part of the working world. I want to do something.
And you were probably surrounded by women who were working too.
Yeah. And I couldn't figure out how to make that happen for me. And my daughter just one day is like, you should do comedy, Mom.
I love that.
I was like, what? What are you talking about?
When your daughter turned 14.
Yeah.
That must have been a really difficult thing for you. I mean, did you see yourself? I mean, you see, I'm a mother. You see 14 and you think baby. And
right.
That must have really brought up, oh my God, I was that young. That what you went through at 14 and what she went through at 14 was that.
I mean, that, and I think the bigger scare for me has been, like, I'm 47 this year and my mom didn't make it to 48. So that's actually somewhere in my head.
Yeah, it's interesting, right?
There is a timer that I'm working against. Like, people in the comedy business often, they're like, how many shows do you do in a day? But I'm working against a clock in my own head constantly. I feel like I have such limited time.
Oh my God, you're so young.
I already started so late.
Right. Phyllis Diller started at 37 with 5 kids. It's never too late. And also, it's funny because there is so much misogyny in this business. And I see over the 4 decades that I've been doing this, that I've seen the role of women and how we're treated, you get older, you're in your 50s. Once you're in your 50s, you really don't give a shit anymore. And you're funnier and you're fearless, but we're so objectified that it's like, who wants to hear a woman in her fit? Well, I know, for me, Joan Rivers was, from the time I was conscious, was my hero, and I knew her and she was amazing. And I know that and I love this, that you've said that you feel most akin to the Jewish women comedians.
100%. I credit the Jewish women in comedy for helping me get on the stage. Felicia Madison was the first one. My friend said, "Go." She does open mics. And I was like, I don't know what to do in an open mic. And she said, go talk to her. And then when I went, she's like, just get on stage, just talk about what you think is funny. And, I don't know if it had been another man or another person, I would have felt as comfortable just getting up there and saying anything.
Oh, of course, you wouldn't have.
She would have, she made it so it was okay to even just say anything that came to my mind. And also, I have my own connection with the Jewish faith. So 20 years ago, I did a whole 1-year docent program at the Museum of Jewish Heritage.
You
downtown.
did?
Yeah. So it's, when you had a very... Yeah. I mean, so when I got married, we lived in Europe for a little bit before we came back to America. And I discovered the Holocaust for the first time in Europe. So I remember thinking, how can I have a degree in finance, a degree in law? I'm an educated woman who read, and I didn't know that this has happened. And then for years, I went through an inner journey of like learning more and more. And, the sadness, I had my own baggage.
Right.
And there was so much to draw from, like how people got hope, how people kept going. Even though my life was nothing like that of the stories that I read. But I drew so much inspiration and courage. So I have a deep, deep connection with the Jewish faith. And I went to the Museum of Jewish Heritage and I told them, I said, I'm shocked. I didn't know. And they said, I said, I want to learn. So they put me in this program and they said, you know what? We have enough docents doing tours in the museum. But if you want to help us, you go out and tell your world what we've been through.
Right. That's exactly right.
My job. So people come from India to America to New York and they're like, Statue of Liberty. They want to go to Chrysler. I'm like, no. We're going to go to the museum.
I love that. I love that because it's true and people don't know. And I am now, because there's so much anti-Semitism where there always was, but now it's really out in the open. Yeah. I am going to be having Holocaust survivors on every 2 or 3 months because these stories need to be told.
Absolutely.
So
and I also joke that there's an older Jewish lady living inside me because you're
very Jewish. You're very Jewish.
I mean, the words come out of my mouth too. Like the Meshuggahs, I mean, why did I just say that? I'm not sure why I said it.
Right.
But it came out and now I get
scared. We're very similar.
Can I get canceled for it? I don't know. But it naturally falls out of my mouth.
No, you're allowed to say it. Okay.
This week's episode of It's Judy Show with Judy Gold is sponsored by BetterHelp. And if you know me, which I think you do because you're listening to my podcast right now, you know that I am a big advocate for therapy. I think it benefits everyone. I think there's so many people who need it, who don't partake. It is so important for your emotional health and well-being. Therapy is fantastic. It is in every stretch of the imagination. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, please do it. But please give BetterHelp a try. It is entirely online. It's designed to be convenient. It's flexible. It suits your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. I have switched therapists in my life. I've had many, many therapists, and sometimes it's not a great fit for you, but don't give up. Therapy is beneficial. You can learn about yourself. You can process and just be emotionally healthy. I'm telling you, do it. BetterHelp is great because, when I used to schlep to my therapist's office, it was so annoying. You have to do it and you sit there and you wait. And then I'm telling you, doing it online is fantastic. And BetterHelp is amazing. I know a lot of people who've used it. So if you're thinking about therapy, go to BetterHelp.com. Let the gratitude flow. This is Gratitude Month, people. So you need to let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JudyGold, JudyGold, today, and you will get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JudyGold. You're welcome.
First of all, I'm so happy your daughter told you to do stand-up. And I love that you Googled, knowing you're funny, you Googled jobs for funny people.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be a female comedian in India.
No, not at all.
So your life's journey, when you look back, I mean, God, the things you had to go through, but you're doing what you're meant to be doing. You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like destiny has brought me here. There's no other explanation for why I'm here.
Right.
I mean, why am I at the Cellar? I'm just following Chris Rock and going up before Kevin Hart and following you and then sitting there. Like, there's no explanation for this. I didn't even know. The first open mic I did, I remember getting on stage and saying, white people do this? Like, this is a job? To stand there and talk about your president, and like that will get you jailed in one day in India.
That is why the First Amendment is so important here. And my book, yes, I can say that. Zarna, your father died over a decade ago, but what, 15 years ago or something?
Yeah.
Your mother died when you were 14. And I believe that they are so fucking proud of you and what you've accomplished. I have to believe that. There's some divine intervention with you because you're the whole package. You won this amazing screenwriting award, 11,000 entries. You won at the Austin Film Festival. Is that becoming a film?
Yeah. I mean, it's been optioned and they're working on it, Another thing I wrote in complete innocence, I thought I'll write a film and I'll call the CEO of Disney and be like, now go make it.
Right. I love that. I love that about you. But it's like, that's how you feel. Like, that's how I was when I first started. I was like, oh, I'm going to be on the Tonight Show. And and then you get jaded and people just put you down and you go, and it peels away at you till you're just like, forget it. I'm not even going to try it. But I love that you're so lucky that you have this brilliance and all of these experiences, and you're doing this now with all the knowledge you have. It's like, that is why it's going to work. And don't think you're running against a clock. Look at Joan. She was never more relevant than when she died at 82. So,
right. By the way, huge inspiration for me too, Joan.
Yeah, she, the best. Okay, so I always I could talk to you forever, by the way. I always ask my podcast guests 2 questions, okay? Number 1, what do you do for your mental health to keep mentally healthy?
It's so boring, but I take a nap. I'm a big... I'm like, when I've lost my mind or I just can't figure it out, I just need to shut down and be left alone for an hour. Just sleep.
Now, do you drink caffeine?
I do drink caffeine, and I drink alcohol too.
Please, how can you not? But could you you can sleep on caffeine?
Listen, there are days when I'm so tired, like 10 cups of coffee.
Same.
On, you know the life we have.
Oh,
and
please.
It's such an upside down, like, I'm here, I'm there, I'm coming home at 1 and I'll sleep standing up.
I can sleep anywhere. I know this is horrible. Everyone poo and I'm horrible, but I think I would be a good homeless person. Okay. So there's that because, like last night I did this Mint comedy show and my spot was like 11 o'clock. And I was like, I used to be out and the clubs went till 2 or 3 in the morning when I started, but I can't, these 11 o'clock spots I'm just like, and then I'm going to get home and when you have kids, like people don't realize. And my son, Henry, by the way, who was so mad that I was a comic and didn't have a normal job like everyone else, is now producing shows. So that's really, you know him, right?
I saw him last night. I was outside the cellar waiting for my spot.
Because I was on the, he said he saw you and he loves you.
I was like, I wanted to go see you, but I was on hold because any minute a famous person was about to get off
Chris
and I had to get on.
So,
and in the end, I got bumped. I never got on.
It's so annoying.
No, it's
I know, it's part of the job.
And me, like, look, who am I? You know what I mean? I'm just happy to be able to watch all of this go down.
Right.
So, but I was dying. I was talking to Henry. I'm like, can I go watch her? And he's like, but she's there. And over here, I knew they were like, if he comes on, you got to get on right away.
Right. It's amazing. The life we lead. My second question, and the reason I call the podcast Kill Me Now is because as you know, since you've seen my act, I get annoyed at everything. So what makes you really angry and pisses you off more than anything?
I mean, I'm going to be like very full on political mode right now because I'm really furious at the state of women.
In this bring it country. On, sister. Bring it country.
On. I'm like now on top of the fact that destiny brought me here, I cannot tolerate the way women are being treated politics, in business. I'm a businesswoman. I like to get paid. I'm very clear about that.
Right. And we do not get paid as much as the men.
Not at all. And it's always a fight. People always expect us to do stuff for free and do, what are you doing? It's just a joke. No, it's not.
Oh my God. It's like, I can't even tell you. I do, I'll do a gig and then I will sell my book afterwards. And they're like, can you give us the proceeds of the book for the charity? And it's like, I pay for the books. What do you think? I just get my book for free from the publisher? No.
I mean, would they ask Bill Burr that? They wouldn't.
No.
I mean, they would be like, take more money from us. Like,
right.
I know now the inequities that exist. Like, I think the record number of jobs were created in the last three to 4 months. All of them went to men.
Right.
Because women and mothers in particular got completely derailed during the pandemic.
Right.
So I'm furious to the point that I am going to do something about this.
It's also, there's another thing to be said for, when I started out, and I've said this multiple times on the show, I would call a club and they would say, oh, we had a woman here 3 months ago and she didn't do well. So we're not, So, and I've told this multiple times. And at this point, the fact that women on a show is a special event. It's still a special, we have to stop doing that. Like, we have to stop calling women on a show a different name and, genderizing it. We have to just be great, funny, great comics, So, and I know we do that to survive, to get stage time, but it's got to stop. We can't do these like hysterical and ladies night out. That's another thing that pisses me off. But I'm with you, sister. If you need me for anything, because I believe the misogyny in this country, something we have, the ERA hasn't passed. We couldn't even elect a person, a woman who's overqualified for the job because she has a fucking vagina and you don't like her and you don't like her husband. It's a fucking job.
I know you're telling me, you're preaching to the choir, and I'm here in this fight right there with you. And, people act like women don't need money to survive.
Right.
We're going to get, but I was just saying, oh, you got paid in kisses. I'm like, let me pay you in kisses. Come here. You know what I mean?
What the fuck is that? I would kill that person.
But exactly. So you talk about what makes me angry. And now I feel like I've been put in this position. You have to understand, brown women don't know they have a right to laugh.
Right.
They don't know that. They're too scared. That's why brown women don't do comedy, because who's going to laugh? The men don't pay attention. They all act like they're so important.
Right.
Everybody is out there solving world crisis. Not.
Which I think is why you love Jewish women, because we are just like, fuck you.
Yeah, I'm learning from you guys. Like, my culture would have me believe that I should be sitting there quietly in the back.
Of course. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I want us to take that next step. But I will tell you this, Judy, that in the little bit of time that I've been in this business, the market is changing. The people who come to the clubs, like, sometimes people think, oh, why is she not grateful we're giving her this spot? I'm like, you need me. You need women.
Fuck you. You wouldn't even have this place if it wasn't for comedians.
Yeah.
And women.
Women are part of the audience today. The men are too busy watching sports and playing video games.
Mm-hmm.
Women are showing up and they're done listening to your stupid dick jokes.
Right.
They want to hear about other things.
Right.
So I do think that there's a shift, and I'm always pointing to that shift, because sometimes people will be like, you've only been in this for 3 years. What do you know? I go, I know business.
Right. And it's a business.
This is I see a lot of ladies in this audience, and you're telling me you don't need more of us on that stage because they want to hear another infantile, like 20-year-old male
talk about porn.
Yeah, we don't want to hear it. I don't know who came up with this idea.
Right.
So I do think that there's hope for us together. And I do think social media has united women in a way that no one expected.
Right. Well, You're the best, and I want to go out to eat with you. Do you go out to eat a lot?
Absolutely, all the time. Of course.
Okay,
I told you there's a Jewish woman inside me.
Yeah, I love Indian food so much.
Let's do it.
Can we please? I'm not kidding.
No, let's do it, and we'll make TikToks and stuff while we're there.
Okay. Oh, perfect. All right. Thank you, Zarna. You are the best. You have a beautiful family. And thank you for sharing your story. You're very inspirational.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you for having me. And thank you to listeners.
Thank you so much for listening to part 2 of Kill Me Now with the one and only Zarna Garg. Kill Me Now is produced by Laura Vogel, edited by Colin Schmaling. This podcast would not be possible without the help of Brittany Jo Sowards, who does pretty much everything. Now, if you have not subscribed or left a review, like, you're in total asshole, okay? Because you know this is a great podcast, and this way more people find it, and I can stay on the air. I can keep doing it. So it's just being supporty. You know what I'm saying? Also, my book. Yes, I can say that when they come for the comedians, we're all in trouble. There is no better time to read that book. What has happened in the world of stand-up in the past couple of weeks is unbelievable. And I really think if you love stand-up and you love me, which you obviously do because you're listening to the end, you know, you should go to my website, judygold.com, or wherever books are sold, and get the book, because I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of it, and I think you'll love it. And the audiobook was featured in the New York Times Book Review, but it doesn't matter because my parents are dead. Anyway, let me give you two of those for that. Also, I just want to let people know that I have some gigs coming up. Oh, yeah. I am going to be in the Los Angeles area. I'm coming to LA to do the Netflix is a Joke Festival, and I am going to be doing my own show at the Elysian Theater on May 6th at 7 p.m. in LA, and I am on a special at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles on the 7th, May 7th, Saturday night, called Standout, which is all LGBTQ plus performers. It's going to be fucking amazing. So, but come to my solo show on the 6th if you're in the area. You can go to my website, judygold.com, for all of my upcoming gigs. I'm going to be doing New Jersey Pride. I think it's Morristown. It's one of those on June 11th. I am going to be also in East Greenwich, Rhode Island on June 18th. Oh, and I'm going to be performing in Provincetown all summer. So it's going to be fun, and I need you to be there. So check that out. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitter at Judy Gold, JEWDY. And also, I just want to say that the Ukrainian situation is making me so upset. I know you're probably all so upset about it. It's just awful. And I just can't believe we live in a world where people are just awful to one another. So be nice to each other, you know, because I'm really nice to everyone. And if you're still listening, which I know some of you do listen to the end, because I have been getting tweets and emails. Well, not emails, but I've been getting people writing on Twitter and Instagram. So I have now begun to write their names down. And I'm going to mention you, Mr. Patrick Keller, and say thank you. Thank you. I love you, because I can't believe you're fucking listening to me at the end of this podcast. But we have so many great people coming up on the podcast. I'm really thrilled. And so I just want to say thank you for listening. This is a labor of love, not money, I can assure you. And I can't thank you so much. There's so many podcasts. And I just realized I've been doing this for 7 years. 7 years. 7 years. And I still love, like, telling people stories. So it's because of you that I still do it. So thank you. I love you all. And that's all. I just hope we have peace at some point. And oh yes, I also want to say gay, 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 gay. And as we always say, so long.